because of the heat, but no, because of the rain. But it's hot as shit.
All right, we are live. I am here with Alex C. James, the writer and director of Switchblade Romance.
That's
So,
me.
Alex, man, how does it feel to be wrapping production?
It feels really amazing, especially after such a long year of very little art being made. So it feels very refreshing to be wrapping on a show, and not just like virtually having a few people around, like albeit a skeleton crew. It was nice to hear everybody cheer after a show once. It was nice.
Yeah, you. So this year, you all really got to get into remotes.
Yeah,
So you did several of them. What you did,
yeah.
Eddie, and then
And this one
Switchblade
and Switchblade,
Romance.
yeah.
So what was the connection? There was a connection between those, wasn't there?
Yeah, so when I wrote it was at the very beginning of the pandemic, and I was kind of going through, I think a lot of us were, especially if you're an artist, we're going through kind of an existential crisis, because we all have the saying, right? I think we've all said to each other, what would we be doing if there was no art, if there was no shows? I don't know. Nothing. And so we all had to face that, and that was really tough. And so to cope with that, I figured I wanted to I was like, man, I need like a group therapy session. And so I wrote as like a group therapy session for myself. And I brought all these characters together, and I wanted to just vent. And so I figured that would be the best way to do it, is have a big group therapy session. And that was going to be my show, essentially. And so the end of was a live kidnapping of my character, Jessica. And so inspired by by Halloween. I love how Halloween 1 is the beginning of Halloween 2. And so I wanted Switchblade Romance to be exactly that, the ending of being the beginning of Switchblade Romance. So yeah, that's the connection between Switchblade Romance and is that this is what happens because of Jessica's kidnapping. This is the events that have been set because of that. And we're going to get deeper into that too, because Laura has to find the now, and people that go through blindness, they're going to help find that and find out what it is.
Well, I definitely want to dive into that a little more. But first, before we go any farther, I want the audience that's watching, please, if you have any questions, shoot them in the comments below, and we'll bring them on screen so you can ask. I will say I got to enjoy Switchblade Romance twice, and both times amazing. I want to ask inspiration. What made you write Switchblade Romance?
Switchblade Romance, I was when I get emotional, I like to write to kind of channel those bad thoughts. And so I got really emotional because I thought, like all of us, I thought this wasn't going to last as long as it did. And so I was working at a drive-through Christmas event this past Christmas, and I was just sitting there waving a flashlight, and I was just, my mind was just leaking out my ears. I just didn't know what to do with myself. I'm like, this is so horrible. I'm like, this is what I've been reduced to. Like, I should be acting right now. I should be doing something right now, but I'm not, waving a damn flashlight. So to keep sane, I was writing scenes in my head. I'm like, what kind of crazy exploitation? I just want to go completely off the rails. Like, no rules, no nothing. I'm like, I want to do the most violent, most vicious remote show ever. I'm like, I don't want to hold back anything. I want people to get sick watching this. I want people to get emotional watching this, because I feel emotional right now, and I want to channel that through people going through the show. I'm like, I want people to feel how I feel. So I put those feelings into those clips, especially, and I thought about Fred Vogel and August Underground.
Okay.
And it was a huge influence on me, because I felt like the things that Fred was doing in August Underground, he didn't give a shit. He didn't care about people's feelings. He didn't care about what people thought was wrong or moral or anything. And he did, and he set himself free and let everything out. Everything that you've seen, nothing was suppressed. And so that's what I wanted to do with this, is I wanted to unsuppress all the anger that I've been feeling during 2020 and put it into this show, and basically direct it towards Russell. Well, I really do. I write these characters that I end up really hating, and not like not in a bad way, but like in a good way. Like I hate them as an antagonist, and so I really wanted to kill Russell, and so it felt good to me to kill him the way I did and introduce the new actors that I did. So yeah, I wanted to kill Russell. I wanted to let off some steam.
Very nice. When you do shows like these, do you ever feel like what is the limit? Like, how far can you push the envelope? Because you get pretty graphic
Yeah,
in Switchblade. And where do you think the line is to be drawn?
it's a really good question, man. Because during when we were filming Switchblade, and this has happened multiple times during Black Mass Productions, especially the first time it happened to me was with Inauguration, and when I write, I don't hold anything back. And so, and it seems normal to me. Like I write it, I look at it, I revise it, I type it up, I give it to my actors, and the actors even read it, and we agree on what the scene's going to be, and be like, "Hey, we're going to cut your nipples off. You cool with that?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're cool. Like we're all good." And we get to the actual scene, and we start actually getting into the character and doing it, and it really, I mean, it's happened multiple times where we've had to stop and take a breath and been like, "Oh shit, this is feeling real." Like I've had it happen during Inauguration, during that rape scene. We had to stop and be like, "Look, I understand. Like this is not you. You're not a rapist. You're not a piece of shit. You're playing a character. At the end of the day, you're going to take that character off, and it's going to be done." So yeah, I understand that maybe there is a line, right? And I cross it. I think I cross it regularly. I think I'm just lucky. I'm lucky I have really cool actors that trust me and I trust them. And so when we cross the line, it's safe and consensual. And I think, that's the main key. Like crossing the line is one thing, but as long as it's safe and consensual.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And I think you do it well too. Like nothing. I mean, you push the envelope in graphic content, but it felt right. It didn't feel unneeded to me when I watched it. It wasn't to me that you were just doing it to do it, right?
Right.
Um, I felt like okay, this needed to happen to move from A to B, and it was done so well. Um, I also like the progression between and this with the interaction for the remote. I was a great show. I enjoyed it. I felt like I was in a group setting. I was talking to friends that I knew. I was messaging them while the show was going on.
Right.
And then when we get to this, it was more like sitting back watching a movie and then being able to be a part of that movie all of a sudden. And
right.
I just loved I love that. So let me ask you, like, let's go back to like 2019. Did you ever think that this would be a direction you would be going?
No way.
Doing a concept like this.
No way. And I always had like weird things in the back of my mind. Like I always had this. I love the Matrix, and I love that when Morpheus is like leading Neo. And I was talking about this with my boss from Murder Co. the other day too. We were both talking about it. I'm like, I love the idea of like, I love when Morpheus was guiding Neo through the office. Like, all right, there are two guys in the office. Run from this cubicle to this one now. And I wanted to dip my toe in the water of that to see how that would kind of work without getting too ambitious, because I just wanted to see. And I think that's I think. But I never thought we would be doing anything like this, like remote shows, Zoom video calls like this. No, because so much of my influence and where I come from is from being face to face theater, right? Is a theater influence and theater and so much of why I love theater is because you can see the breadth of the actors. Like my dad would take me to theater and around. I have to move my feet so the actors could walk by me. And so taking that away, I never thought I could survive without that. That's my oxygen, essentially. I never thought that I would be able to adapt it. Not only did I adapt, but I feel like I want to do these more often now. I want to keep doing them. I don't want to stop doing them, even though when I go back to live shows.
Okay. Looks like we got some questions coming in.
Awesome.
Shar asks, how was it blending a live show and films?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that was influenced heavily by Raina directing Eddie. And I thought Eddie was when I got to go through it, because what we do is for fun, especially for 2020, we've been not telling each other about each other's shows so that we can go through them and have fun and experience, because we want content. Like, yes, I write and direct these things, but I'm also a huge fan, and I love everybody's content. Like, everybody who's creating right now, oh my god, like, shout out to Blackheart, they're just killing it, like loving it. They're just killing it right now. So I'm loving all this beautiful content coming out. So I was inspired by Raina and Eddie, and I loved how she had these breakout rooms and had clips. And I think it's just so much easier to film a scene like that and have it on tap rather than have to reset every time, right? And I've never done film before, and I really wanted to. This was finally my chance. I've always been looking for my chance to do my August Underground, to do my toe tag homage, to be like, hey Fred, you inspired me to be an artist, and this is what I've done. So I'm like, oh shit, I'm finally being able to do it. So like I filmed these things. I wanted them to be like home videos, like toe tag. So I knew I couldn't miss, because it wasn't film. Like this was found footage, which is also ironic, because I always said I hated found footage, but here I am doing found footage. So you never know. But yeah.
Okay, well, we got another
Raina
question.
Was the influence.
Oh, Raina was the influence. Okay. Paul asked, what was it like becoming an editor?
Frustrating and beautiful at the same time. Because it's like trying to, like, you would think it's simple, right? Like you put one clip here, you put a transition here, and no, like learning DaVinci was beautiful and frustrating at the same time. Yeah, and now I'm learning compositing and a bunch of different editing tricks, and it's really fun, but humbling at the same time. Like, I always watch all these YouTube videos, and your animation, oh my gosh, like the amount of work that I know that goes into your editing now, I'm like, ooh, respect, because that wasn't a lot of editing, right? That was not a lot. That took hours. That took hours. I mean, I'm a new editor, but it took so much time. But it is rewarding. It's fun. It's what's weird about editing. He's like, I'm going to sit down for like 15 minutes and do some editing. And it's like, what, 3 o'clock? Oh, cool. And then you look at your watch and you're like, oh, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I've been sitting here for 12 hours.
Yep.
How did that just happen? Okay. Well, that's weird. You lose time when you're editing. That's weird. But yeah, highly rewarding. It's frustrating, but it's rewarding. It's kind of like being a musician. It's like when you're trying to learn new things, being a musician, it's frustrating, but when you finally get over the curve, it's very rewarding. I like that about editing. It's good stuff. Good question.
Yeah, definitely. I agree 100%. You lose so much time in your day when you start to edit a project.
Right.
We got Char again. This show has guests from 7 different countries. Do you plan to continue to grow your international audience?
Yeah, see, that right there is the whole reason why I want to keep doing online shows. Because the fact that I was able to interact with people from 7 countries, geez, that's amazing. It's humbling. I'm so humbled by that. I'm so glad that I was able to share my art with people from 7 different countries. That's check off the bucket list right there. But yeah, that's the whole reason I want to keep doing this stuff, because another reason is I think people are a little scared because what we do is really extreme and we have reputations. People have safe worded from just watching videos pulling up in the driveway to come into our event. So I understand that this isn't for everybody, but so I hope by doing virtual shows, I can influence people who wouldn't normally go through this stuff to maybe try it. Like, oh, this isn't as crazy as I thought it was. Because a lot of what we do is hype. A lot. Like, it's our job to hype it. Like, that's what we do. So, like, of course we're going to be good at it. So don't feel bad that you're scared by our hype. Like, that's what we fucking do.
Right?
Yeah.
I can't agree with you more on all that. I am a huge pusher of remote shows. Like you said, to hit different countries, that's huge. Right. They can't travel to see your shows. You're bringing art to them. You get the people that maybe can't afford to travel from location to location, but yet they've been fans of yours and now they can enjoy what you do. That's out of the pandemic, I think that's one of the few pluses that came out of this is the birth of these remote shows. Now I know Blackout did it years ago with 21, but I think it really grew and blossomed during this pandemic.
Yeah, and like I love, man, Blackout is always going to be an inspiration and a pioneer. And I went through Blackout. Like it's one of the reasons why I'm sitting right here with you. So yeah, and I actually went through. I experienced a remote experience, and it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it because it was. I would come home from work and there'd be like a message on my phone, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Like taking it kind of out of the theater, kind of, and it influenced me in a way to where I knew that was also a huge influence on me too, because I knew that I could use the world as my set. Like, and that's what influenced part 2 was. Like, I used Bamboo Club. I'm like, why can't we just be in a bar? We don't need to build a bar. There's a bar right there. Let's do it. Like, we're in real life. Let's do this.
Nice.
So, huge influence on that. Yeah.
Very nice. Looks like we got one from Tim. What inspired you to write the character Laura?
Okay, so in high school, I had a friend who was stereotypical cheerleader. God, that sounds so bad. And she was very egotistical. I'm trying to like say this without saying bad things and try not to sound misogynistic, But she got what she wanted. If a guy wasn't attracted to her, she would always be like, "Oh, he must be gay." Like one of those. And Laura also represents a piece of myself, because like Laura is my anger. Laura is like my, like, all right, whatever. Like, you want to taste the devil, you want to meet the devil. Like, here it is. Like, this is everything. Like, the reason why Pasolini wrote Solo, he wanted like to write the most disgusting film ever. The reason why I wrote Laura is because I wanted to write a character more messed up than Baker. I'm like, I wanted to challenge myself. Like, how can I top it with Baker? How can I make a character even more hated than Baker? And we'll still see if that's true. But that was the influence, honestly.
Very nice. So we got a few compliments on here, Allison. Definitely keep doing them. It's awesomely put together experience. And our buddy Josh, thanks, Alex. Love you, man. You're doing really good work.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot coming from you too, man. Like, I'm a huge fan of that guy. Or that, yeah, amazing.
Emily, you're always pushing the boundaries. What goes through your mind when you're taking these shows to the next level?
You know what? With Switchblade, I just wanted to, I felt like I was a volcano and I just wanted to blow my top off. I just wanted to I wanted to lose all inhibition. So honestly, that was the whole inspiration for him. Like, don't hold back at all. Like, what's the craziest, most over the top, goriest? Like, what do you want to do right now? What would make me feel better? If I was an agent and I was the lamb, what would I do to feel better? And I'm like, I would fucking kick that chick I would hunt that bitch and cut her tits off. Like, and I was like, oh, did I just say that? I blacked out for a second. And then I was like, I better write that down. Like, we're doing that. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to let this flow through me and not suppress it and see what happens. So that was the inspiration. I'm like, I'm going to drop all inhibition for once. This was the show even more so than Inauguration. Like, I let it go. And it affected my cast. I apologize. And I will now publicly apologize to my cast. I am so sorry, because it came through the writing. Like, it came through the anger came through the page, and more than once we had to stop. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I was so angry and I projected that onto you. But at the same time, I'm so grateful, because I feel so much better, and I feel like that expressed me being able to express myself like that really helped me cope with 2020. So, more art like that's going to come, because I'm obviously not like emotionally stable. No apologies.
Let's see. Just saying that I think that my first time going to California is going to be for a Black Mass show. I
You
agree.
will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. I've been working at I have a new gig at Murderco. I've been working there for about 6 months now, and my director over there has really inspired me to up my DIY, because he has all these great stories about like, how much do you think this costs? He's like, see, this guy over here wanted to charge me 20 grand for these maglots. I went on Amazon and built it for $20. Let me show you how I did it. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. And so he's showing me all these great things that I'm applying into my shows now. I'm really grateful. And because of that, I think the new shows, especially Blindness is going to be like anything. I mean, it's going to be unlike anything I've ever done. And it's the most ambitious, it's the longest. It's amazing. I think I'm really excited for it. I think it's different. I'm taking everything. Everything's going to be different. Everybody that goes through the show. Yeah. What's that?
Let's talk about Blindness.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I cannot wait. I'm so excited because now that Switchblade Romance has wrapped tonight, I'm officially full steam ahead for Blindness. And I've been looking forward to this for about a year now. I've been like, every night I go to sleep, I write it. I feel like I've been writing it in my head for years and years. And I've been inspired by events and by my actors, and Blindness is just going to be this. It's not going to be your normal hoods and vans and stuff like that. It's just going to be a descent. That's the way I'm describing it. I want to descend into this abstract world of craziness, and I want to bring you into. I'm like, and I want to really talk about abstract for a second. I really want. It's going to be surreal. It's going to be abstract and for real. It's not going to be like what most people say when they say surreal. I think that word is misused a lot. I think I talked about that with you before too. And so that is my goal with this one. I'm going to smash reality with this. You will not know where you are, what's going on. This is going to be the most surreal experience you'll ever have, ever. Like as far as immersive shows that I have done. I'm really looking forward to it.
So is this going to be part of the M series?
You know what's funny is I never thought that Blindness was going to be part of the M series, but it is now. I think that 2020 kind of made me make this universe, and I'm just, it's kind of happened. I didn't know that I was going to do it, but Blindness is tying into M, and the eye is important, and it's really important, and Blindness is going to be the show where you find out why and what it is. And so I can't tell you much more because when you go through the show, you're going to find it. And this is also going to be a different show too, because I'm going to have Laura corresponding with everybody and planning this well before the show, well before it happens. So if you went through Switchblade Romance, I would look at your emails in the next few months and keep an eye out, because you're going to get contacted by Laura, because she's going to need help getting the eye, because like Elam said, if she doesn't find the eye, the lamb is going to be the least of her problems, you know?
Wow. That's exciting. That's very exciting.
You're going to have a great souvenir, too.
Very nice. So I got to ask, in-person shows are starting up.
Yes.
Remote's done for you, or what?
No. What I'm thinking is I want to do at least 2 or 3 remotes a year. Because I want to bring people in from I want to bring people in from other countries. I want to, if people are too scared to come in, like I'm too scared about a full contact experience. I don't know about shooting children or mutilating them. I don't know if that's for me. I don't know if I would say for it out of it. I think a remote experience would be a great way to test yourself, to see if maybe you are interested. Be like, oh, you know what? I like that remote experience. Maybe I'd like to do an in-person one now. Maybe. You know, because again, I know how you can psych yourself up. So that's another motive for me to do this. And again, like I just love interacting with people from out of state, out of country. So like, why not? And it's challenging me as a writer and director. Like I think it made Blindness better. Blindness would have been a completely different show if it happened in May of 2020. Completely different. Really? Now it's going to be, it's twice the show it's going to be. I'm actually almost grateful because I was able to really think and be influenced by other things. And now it's going to be like, I'm telling you, if you've been through one of my shows before, I think part 2, you started to see kind of my ambitions start to come true. But with Blindness, you're going to see everything come true. Now our team is running on at full speed now. We are ready.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
And we have other things coming. Raina's got some stuff up her sleeve.
Oh, but let's see what we got here. Speaking of Lamb, there will be a new film coming soon, Branding the Lamb. All right.
Yeah. And don't forget, I still got M Part 3. And M Part 3 has got like is the ending to the M universe. So that is the big finale. But it's not the complete end of the M series. It's just we're gonna take a little pause. And then, but I have years of content ready for M. Years. Like we're writing this for years. Like as long as you guys are here, I'm writing. So
Emily dropped another question. What will be the main difference between Blindness and the previous in-person show Esther?
Okay. So Blindness is going to implement some of the stuff that I learned from Switchblade Romance. So Blindness will have a lot more multimedia, and I'm going to use that to my advantage. You know, and because before I'm going to keep one thing though, and this is the one thing this is my new thing, and this is something my dad taught me from when he directs theater, and I'm never going to have canned music. So all my music's going to be live from now on. So just be ready for that. That's the only spoiler I'll give you. I'm going to have live music for everything from now on. And but the main difference, Esther wasn't part of the M series. Yeah, that's right. But that show is just pure blood. But you know what? Very similar to Switchblade Romance, because written in the same kind of I was in the same kind of headspace when I wrote Esther too. I'm like, I don't want to write an Easter show. I'm like, I want to be proud of my Jewish heritage and like share that with everybody. So I was like, I'm gonna write a show about Esther. Like, let's do this. So, but that rage definitely translated into Switchblade Romance, and the multimedia is definitely going into Blindness. And I'm up in the game on everything: costumes, sets, everything, characters, everything. This is a learning process for me. I've been learning a lot these past years, and I have a great crew that's been helping me learn, a lot. So, and we've been growing as a team too. So you'll see it in Blindness. You'll see it, and you'll especially see it in some of the new stuff coming up too that I'm not directing. You'll see it. We've grown as a company, and there might even be stuff from Amori coming up too. So
that's exciting to hear.
Yeah, I so much stuff.
I will definitely have to be making another trip out to LA to visit y'all.
Yeah,
and see what you have. In closing, where can people find you? What do people need to do to partake in one of your shows?
You need to fill out an application. Just email blackmass@gmail.com. And I'm sure Raina will put that in the Chainsaw will put that in the chat right now. So definitely fill out application. I know that sounds intimidating, but I'm just trying to be different and cool. so fill in an application. It just shows me that you're committed and you're interested and lets me case you a little bit, because these shows are catered to my guests, I want you to have fun a little bit. So I do want to know about you. And so when I write shows, I will write Easter eggs for you and stuff.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Get in touch with Verena.
I want to thank you for coming on and sharing all this with us. Definitely cannot wait to see what you have for us in the future.
Yeah, I can't wait. So we're in full production. I'm in full production for Blindness now. There is definitely things coming before that you should stay tuned for, that are going to be legendary. I'm going to stay, but definitely stay tuned. That's all I'm saying.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
This is Alex C. James, the writer and director of Switchblade Romance, and I am Chris Smith from Horror Road Trip. We will see you all later. Bye.